Do you ever finish teaching a student and then think, okay, what am I teaching them next? Maybe you have a curriculum, maybe you're using a textbook, maybe you have folders full of lessons you've collected over the years. Maybe you just have lots of students and it's like, oh, I have to go find that note. Where did I put it? Where's the sticky note? But having lots of teaching materials isn't necessarily the same thing as having a plan for that particular student. And if you're making that decision after every single class, you're basically planning your student's curriculum one lesson at a time. So today I want to show you one of the features I've built into the Florentis Teacher Hub to solve that problem, learning paths. They let you map out where a student is going, assign that plan to them, and then actually use it as part of your day-to-day teaching workflow. If you're new here, I'm Megan from Florentis Learning. I create curriculum and tools specifically for independent ESL teachers, with a big focus on helping us spend less time on all the administrative and prep work around teaching, and more time actually teaching. If that's the kind of thing you're interested in, make sure you subscribe because I'm sharing a lot more of what I'm building along with practical ideas for running and growing an independent teaching business. Let me show you what I mean. When you come in, and those of you who've seen the Teacher Hub before, this will be familiar to you. You of course land on your today screen and it gives you lots of information, many outstanding tasks you might have from feedback that day, your upcoming lessons, even your leads and opportunities. But let's take a look at the learning paths. So when I go to learning paths, I've actually created this one in here for a National Geographic Reading Explorer Level 1. Some people are using textbooks. I created this because the reality is that the Teacher Hub works for you whether you use the Florentis Learning curriculum or not. But really, a learning path is essentially the roadmap for a student. And the nice thing about this is that if I've created it, I can actually assign it to any of my students. So if I check out my student tab, this is a demo account. These are not real students, and you can tell that obviously from first look by looking right at their crazy names. You will see a lot of these students are using Florentis lessons. There's just this convenient start next lesson button. This particular one here is using a custom curriculum, specifically that Reading Explorer one that I use, so Portabella. The next lesson is Amazing Animals, the Incredible Dolphin. And when I click on that, whether it's there or whether I click on the log button, it does bring up this nice convenient feedback form where you can keep track of their feedback, even for non-Florentis students. So instead of really looking through all your resources every week and deciding what comes next, you can make these bigger instructional decisions ahead of time. And if we go and look at Portabella's learning path, because I have taken the one that I created and assigned it to her. When I come in here, you'll see right away, oh, right here, National Geographic Reading Explorer Level 1, Amazing Animals, the Incredible Dolphin. The focus is on reading skill for GIST. And the next one in her path is Amazing Animals, Masters of Disguise. And I can view that learning pathway, which is here. Now, I didn't type in all of their names, so you'll notice it just says Unit 1, Lesson 1, etc. And you can actually do that really quickly if you're using a book and you're like, oh, well, each unit is 3 lessons and I have 12 less units. And then you can edit that later. This one is generated just with the textbook path builder, and you can edit it and adjust it. And then as we teach it, as you log those things, each of these lessons just gets marked off, and then you know exactly what's next. And it's right on your homepage and it's there. I can immediately look and see where the student is going rather than treating every lesson as a completely separate decision. That is a custom path for one of the, like if you're creating something that is not Florentis. If you're teaching a student that is a Florentis student, those learning paths are already created for you. So I know already the next lesson is lesson 2, summer close. The next lesson for the student is lesson 1, planning a trip. And just recently I've added some new tools that allow you to customize that path as well. So maybe you're teaching core lesson and then phonics lesson, core, phonics, and you're alternating, or you're doing core lesson, writing lesson, or core and conversation lesson. You can really quickly and easily throw that together and it will automatically keep track of that for you as well. That is what the learning path looks like. And there's an important distinction here. A curriculum and a learning path aren't necessarily the same thing. A curriculum gives you the instructional materials and usually a recommended sequence, but your actual student might not follow that sequence perfectly. Maybe they need more speaking practice, so you weave in some conversation lessons. Maybe you want to add in writing, and so you might do one writing lesson a week or one writing lesson every 4 lessons. Maybe there's something they already know and you don't need to spend 3 lessons teaching it, so you skip it. Or maybe you're combining resources from several different places, and that's when learning paths become really useful. So let's say that I have a student and I want to map out where we're going over the next several weeks. I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to show you sort of the 2 ways to do this. First of all, if I was going to say, okay, Hazelnut is going to be doing that National Geographic learning path that I already built. You can literally do this in 2 seconds. So I'm going to come in here and you'll see that she's actually on this guided core curriculum, Florentis and custom materials. And this is actually selected right here. So if I just choose straight up Florentis, then I can't add my own. But if I choose both, I can very easily add that in. And then I have the option of a textbook or custom materials only. I'm just going to leave it just the way it is actually. And I'm going to come back here. You'll notice that she's strictly studying the core curriculum. Here's the learning pathway for the core curriculum. So you know what she's done, what's coming, that sort of thing. I want to build a custom learning path. So I'm going to come into my Build a Learning Path button. I have the very first thing I can choose is to load from a template. So I've already built one, it's in there, I'm using it for another student. I just hit load and all of a sudden I have that whole path right here. Now, maybe I'm not going to do Unit 9 with her. I could literally just click it and delete it and get rid of those. I could also change the teacher notes here. If you happen to have built it from here and you want to save it back into your pathway, you certainly can. But I'm just going to save her learning path. We're just going to use one that's already built. It is that easy. Now we can see that she's on a custom learning path, so it's changed. This is her learning path. Current step is Amazing Animals, the Incredible Dolphin, which is the very first one. That is taking one that you've already made. Now, what if you want to make a new one? So you can make it from a student profile, or you can go over to your learning paths and create it from here. If you create it from here, you have a couple of options in that you have this textbook generator or a published course. Maybe you're using something other than Florentis and you want to just put that in there and you know that they have 10 units or whatever it is. You can still do that. Or else we have a completely blank one, which is available on a student profile. So I'm just going to use the textbook published course generator. And I'm going to say this is reading, I'm going to put in National Geographic, and I'm going to go Reading Explorer. And I'm going to make this level 2. I'm going to say there's 12 units. I usually teach it as 3 lessons per unit. And I can give those a default name. So lesson 1, 2, 3, or 1A, 1B, like lesson A, B, C, whatever you want. And I'm going to throw in develop academic reading skills and vocabulary. I'm going to generate that learning path. What I'm going to get is, it says my textbook path is created. You'll notice it's right here. So now I can come in and I can edit the details. I can add in my unit title. I could add a separate goal for each one. I could put the pages. I can put the lesson title in. If I add in the lesson title, the unit title of Amazing Animals, for example, it knows, because I told it that each unit had 3 lessons, that the unit title on those first 3 is actually Amazing Animals. It's just something that makes it a little bit faster for you to create your path. Once you've done that, you would hit save and you have a path that you can then assign to a student. If you're using Florentis lessons, and I am a little bit biased, obviously, as curriculum creator of Florentis, so I certainly encourage you to check out our free pathways. If you haven't seen the lessons before, there are free sequences. But if I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look at Lollipop, this is actually a phonics lesson, and you'll notice that her path is Core Level 1 plus phonics, and it says it's interleaved. So that is something that the system will let you set up automatically. And you'll see here what's going on, right? She did chicken and sheep, then next lesson is a phonics lesson, then she's back to Core Level 1, phonics, Core 1, phonics, etc. And it does that automatically. And you're like, okay, well, how does it do that? I literally come down in here and I choose Combine Core Level 1. So you have to have your learning map on, right? And have the level assigned here. and I want to combine it with, in this case, it's already phonics, so it's already generated. But I choose my phonics and I want a ratio of 1:1, or maybe I want 2 core, 1 track, or 1 core, 2 track. So what that means is I would do 2 core lessons and then 1 phonics lesson. So I'm going to switch it, and I'm going to say I want to just create the 20 lessons in the sequence. That's okay. We can start there. It's actually going to start at the last lesson that she finished on her pathway. So when I save this, so it's generating. It just takes a second. Path is generated. It's reloading the screen. And you'll remember we've changed it to 2 core, 1 phonics. Now if we look, we will see we've got lesson 4, lesson 5, both core curriculum, and then 1 lesson for phonics. So you can create something that is completely customized and add in your own lessons for each one. You would just simply go here to the custom learning path right here, and we'd have to clear it and edit one. Or you can use this planning tool and have them automatically alternate your Florentis lessons. When you are teaching Florentis lessons, that's when you get those nice buttons to start next lesson now right on your hub, which is great. But one thing that was really important to me when I was building this was the Teacher Hub really shouldn't dictate what you teach. The Teacher Hub is there because not every student is going to use the exact same curriculum. You might use Florentis with one student, a textbook with another, and a combination of your own resources with Florentis materials with another one. And then maybe you throw in a game every 5 sessions, and that's sort of your pattern. The hub is there to help you organize your plan. This is the part I think is easy to underestimate. The goal isn't to make a pretty list of lessons. The goal is to make instructional decisions once instead of making it over and over again. Because when you have those paths already created in your learning path section, you can assign them to whatever students. So if you maybe have one that's specific to reading, then I can go in and I can assign it, I can edit it or customize it for them, but I'm only doing that work once. So if I sit down today and think carefully about where this student needs to go, I don't need to repeat that entire thought process before their next lesson on Tuesday. It's already there, it's already done. I've got the next 10 lessons or 15 lessons or 12 lessons mapped out. I know what they're working toward, and I know what's coming next, and I can communicate that to the parents. This really is, let me show you, if you're using Florentis, I want to show you sort of the power of this, because this is the fun part, right? I'm going to go to Lollipop, which we just did, and I'm going to hit Start Next Lesson. And when I click Start Next Lesson, it's going to open this in a new tab for me. So we'll just give it a second to load. I'm ready to teach. My lesson is up. I'm ready to teach. And when you're using the Teacher Hub, you do also get this teaching tool. So you automatically get some rewards built in. I'm partial to the rockets and my students love them, but I also have a lot of students that like the butterflies. You get a board here, you can draw on it. It's got different things. So if I want to make a mind map about farm animals, okay. Now I've got this farm animal one, and I can add different things. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add something like cows. I'm going to add something else like pigs. So I can just keep adding things to my map. I can also, I've got a timer here, which is built in. I've got this little class notes. I don't know if you've ever used the chat box and your student's like, I don't see it, teacher, where is it? Well, this is right on your screen. So it works the same way, except they can't type back to you, but you can adjust your font size. You can type your sentence here. You've got your drawing tools. You have a dice that you can roll for games. Everything is sort of here that you might need. There's also tools built in so that you can create a quick a quiz question. You can set up a crossword puzzle automatically. There's a whole bunch of things here that you get also along with the Teacher Hub. This lesson opened in seconds. I'm ready to teach. I know where they are. When I'm done, I come back after class. I hit log. It's going to open my feedback note. What lesson did I teach? It already knows. It knows that this was the last lesson I taught. It knows that today's lesson is ducks and donkey. So if I didn't finish, I can continue it. It's got if you're using Florentis, it does have sample feedback messages, and those feedback messages have the student's name put in. I can add in a quick homework task. I'm going to then mark this off. How independently did they identify it? I'm going to say they did a great job independently. And I don't necessarily need to do all of these stars for all of the things. So we didn't do any writing, but they were engaged and they were listening well and they were speaking. This is a level 1 very early on, and I'm just going to save progress. And next time I come in to look at Lollipop, it knows what the next lesson is. And so if I look here and it's refreshing up at the top, we'll just give it a second to refresh. The next lesson is Farm Animals Review. And here's the pathway. We know we're on number 2 of 20, and we just start the next lesson. So this is what I ultimately wanted. I wanted something that was sort of like that company experience. When it's time to teach, I don't want to go looking for the plan I made 3 weeks ago in a Google document that's somewhere. I want the plan to be a part of the student's record and part of the workflow I'm already using. So I'm curious how you're doing this right now. Do you plan several lessons ahead for your students? Do you follow a textbook or a curriculum straight through? Or are you usually deciding what you're going to teach one lesson at a time? Let me know in the comments, because I think independent teachers have developed all kinds of different systems for managing this. Of course, if you're teaching with Florentis Learning, learning paths can make things even easier because you already have structured curriculum and lesson sequences to work from. But I didn't want the Teacher Hub to only work if you teach with Florentis. The bigger idea behind this is your teaching tools should adapt to the way you run your teaching business, not force you to adapt your business to the software. And I think learning paths are a really important part of that. If you'd like to explore Florentis Learning and the Teacher Hub for yourself, I'll put the links below in the video description. You can also join Florentis Learning for free and explore some of the lessons and the resources I've created before deciding whether the full curriculum is right for you. And if you're looking at this thinking, okay, but what exactly is the Teacher Hub? Check out this playlist with all sorts of videos. Make sure that you check out the one on the overview first. I will show you more about how I'm bringing student management, lesson tracking, and planning, and the day-to-day work of running a private teaching business together in one place. And if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe.